2 American lives have been lost on Ukraine's battlefield, far from home, but at the center of a war reshaping global politics. As families mourn, the fighting grinds on in Eastern Europe with no clear end in sight. These deaths underscore the human cost of a conflict now nearing its 4th year. And even as diplomacy re-enters the conversation, the reality on the ground remains brutal. Two U.S. volunteers fighting alongside Ukrainian forces have been killed in combat, according to family members and reports cited by Newsweek. Wingate Jones and Brian Zacherl were serving with international units operating under Ukraine's Military Intelligence Command, the GUR. Their deaths come as Russia's full-scale invasion approaches its 4th year, a conflict that has drawn thousands of foreign fighters, including Americans, into the war. Family members confirmed the losses through social media posts, describing both men as driven by conviction and a desire to stand against Moscow's aggression. Brian Zacherl, 29, was killed in battle earlier this month, according to his uncle, Michael Zacherl. He wrote that Brian's wife and 2 children were in Kyiv, waiting for conditions to allow the recovery of his body from the battlefield. A GoFundMe page set up to support the family had raised tens of thousands of dollars within days, reflecting both grief and solidarity from supporters back home. Wingate Jones was killed on December 3rd when a Russian drone struck a medical armored personnel carrier, according to her sister, Amber Jones. She said her brother left behind a pregnant wife. The exact number of Americans who have volunteered to fight in Ukraine is difficult to determine, but estimates cited by the New York Times, based on figures from Ukraine's World War II History Museum, suggest that several thousand U.S. citizens have served since 2022. At least 92 Americans are believed to have been killed in combat. Foreign volunteers say they are motivated by outrage over Russia's invasion, solidarity with Ukraine, or the search for purpose in a war that has become one of the defining conflicts of the century. For families, however, the cost is immediate and deeply personal. As fighting continues, a new diplomatic effort is quietly taking shape. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the United States has proposed a new format for talks with Russia, involving national security advisors from Kyiv, Moscow, and Washington. Zelensky welcomed American involvement, but warned expectations should remain realistic, noting that previous negotiations produced few tangible results. Still, he said U.S.-led diplomacy remains the most viable path forward, even as the war continues to claim lives on the battlefield.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described the situation in Odessa as harsh, accusing Russia of deliberately trying to choke Ukraine's access to the Black Sea, a lifeline for trade and security. Zelensky also signaled accountability at home, saying he is considering replacing the head of Ukraine's Southern Air Command, Dmytro Karpenko, following the strikes on Odessa. Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister, Oleksiy Kuleba, said Russian forces also targeted the nearby port city of Pivdeny, striking several reservoirs in a separate attack. Ukraine's military says it has struck back. Special forces carried out a drone attack on a Lukoil oil rig in the Caspian Sea, as well as a Russian military patrol ship named Okhotnik. The military added that the Filanovsky oil rig, already hit twice earlier this month, was damaged again in the latest strike. Ukraine also claims it destroyed 2 Russian fighter jets at an airfield in occupied Crimean Peninsula. Meanwhile, Russia's Ministry of Defense says its forces have taken control of 2 villages, Svitle in eastern Donetsk and Vysoke in the northeastern Luhansk region. As missiles, drones, and territory change hands, the battle for Ukraine's ports and control of the Black Sea is intensifying, with no sign of de-escalation. A new diplomatic push is on the table, but Ukraine's president is keeping expectations firmly in check. Volodymyr Zelensky says the United States has proposed a new format for talks with Russia, involving three-way discussions between national security advisors from Ukraine, Russia, and the U.S. While welcoming Washington's involvement, Zelensky expressed skepticism that the proposal would bring anything new, warning that past talks have delivered limited results. Still, the Ukrainian leader said U.S.-led negotiations remain the most viable path forward. Zelensky said Ukraine would support trilateral talks if they lead to tangible progress, including prisoner of war swaps or preparations for a meeting between national leaders. Zelensky also urged European leaders to move decisively on seizing frozen Russian assets and redirecting them to fund Ukraine's war effort. He said doing so would strengthen Ukraine's leverage at the negotiating table and help sustain the country through a prolonged conflict. According to the International Monetary Fund, Ukraine will require approximately $161 billion in 2026 and 2027 as the ongoing war continues to strain the nation's economy.